sports news. Thank you.
Hey Oliver, how are you?
Hi, good, thanks. You?
Good, very good, thank you. Initially, just wanted to ask you around team news, if anything changed from the team?
Yes, Jeff Lerma is not available tomorrow. He's sick, so. But all the others look quite good. Who played at Leicester is, with a small question about Ismail Assar. Suffers a little bit with tightness in his hamstring, but also, let's see, we will take the final decision tomorrow, but all others are fine.
And Lama, it's just sickness. You don't expect him to be out for a long time?
No. We thought that he could be back today, maybe, but then he didn't feel really well, so then we decided it makes no sense. Also, he feels lack of power, and then we said, okay, we have to wait.
Is that the same sickness that was going
Yes,
on
yeah.
previously?
No, we don't know. We had to take him off after 20 minutes at Leicester, and there he felt unwell, and this is what just happened.
Lovely, thank you. I wanted to ask you around the news of, I guess, Erling Haaland's 10-year contract. Well, not so much about this specific contract, but do you think this is the future of football? There is length in terms of contracts, and do you see yourself signing a player for 10 years?
Yes, you know, Haaland is a bit younger than me, so I think it's the first time in football. It was, I don't know, I was always thought that the maximum length is 5 years. Maybe they changed the rules, so I don't know exactly. But it's to be honest, I don't have really an opinion about it. It's Erling Haaland's decision and Man City's decision, and but I got 50 last year, so for me I think 10 years is too long, but I don't know where football, in which direction football will develop.
Lovely. I wanted to ask you around, I guess, the transfer window, in terms of, obviously we're coming into the last 2 weeks.
Surprise.
We're coming into the last 2 weeks of it, and obviously with Trevor going back to Chelsea, has that left you in a position to now looking for more players and seeing what your options are over the next period of 2 weeks?
I hope we can announce a signing quite early, maybe later today or tomorrow. And yes, as I mentioned, we're also looking for a second one in a different position. And yes, Trevor was a little bit surprising that he was called back by Chelsea, but very good for us is that Charlie Riyad is back after an injury. And so, we will discuss it, and then let's see. And we will just do something if it makes sense. It was the same alone with Trevor. Just was possible at the end of the transfer window, and then we thought, it makes sense. And if we think we don't find a right player who can help us achieving our goals, we don't do anything.
Lovely. And just looking ahead to West Ham, I wanted to get your thoughts on Graham Potter and the work he's done over the last 2 games, but I guess just him as a manager as a whole. I know his stint at Chelsea, but prior to that, just the work that he'd done at Brighton. What do you make of Graham Potter, and how much of a challenge would it be going to West Ham on this occasion?
So I don't know him in person, but everything I hear about him is a lot of appreciation, and he did a great job at Brighton. And then I think it was maybe a little bit too short, or maybe he had deserved more time at Chelsea to implement his football ideas. And but he's a quite young English manager, and great. Having done a great job for Brighton especially, and now he's at West Ham, and what I can see, and for me, he had a quite, how can I say, a prompt impact on the team, because I think he managed the first game after being there 1 or 2 days, and was the FA Cup game at Villa, and especially in the first half, I could see they are very structured, so they didn't give Aston Villa, so they kept them on no shots at halftime at Villa Park. It's quite difficult. So really good structure, was difficult to find space to create chances, and this was a little bit similar against Fulham. Yes, Fulham had at the end more shots, and they were very efficient. So they had 4 shots and scored 3 goals, and with a good switch between high press. So they scored 2, let's say, empty net goals because they won the ball very high in the opposite box, and then defending their own box very well, having very good football players. They're struggling with their strikers after the accident of Michael Antonio and the injury of Füllkrug. And in the last game, so they played, let's say, with Paqueta as a false 9, we would say, and Souček, both very good football players. And will be a challenge for us. And but we feel well. We feel in a good shape. We feel ready for this game. And we also analysed our game at Leicester, where I was. Maybe we all, not me, we all, also the players were not quite happy with our performance, but with the result. We talked about it, we analysed it, and with the next chance to perform better, but of course it is again to win again.
Okay,
thank you.
Oliver, just staying on the topic of West Ham, you talked about how you saw the side West Ham play against Fulham and against Aston Villa. I mean, how different of a West Ham side do you expect to play tomorrow compared to the one that beat Palace earlier on in the season?
I expect them playing like they played in the last 2 games, and this is what I mentioned. It's when you're there for a few days and you can see immediately what the new manager wants. It shows a lot of quality from Graham Potter with his staff, and also it shows that these players can adjust very quickly, and so I think we can't compare it to the first game. So they have some, especially in their offense, they're missing crucial players with Jared Bowen as well, Füllkrug, Michael Antonio, and but they play different. So a lot of many technical players. So in the last game with Alvarez, with Soler, with Paqueta, with Souček, with help me, who was the second 6? Spanish. No, Soler played on the half left, and being many technical players also. Good moving the ball, having a structure in the game, pushing Emerson higher and Soler in, and more from a building up in the back 3 with Aaron Wan-Bissaka more inside and Kudus the wide player, but switching this also because Wan-Bissaka had the assist to the second goal of Souček, and always having good runs into the box, and especially I know Souček because we played against West Ham with Frankfurt in the semi-finals of the Europa League, so he's always attacking the box and scoring goals, and they are still very dangerous in set plays, many tall players, great deliverers, so will be a good challenge for us, and again, but we also feel quite well in our situation, and we want to continue our run.
From your team's point of view, I know you said after the game against Leicester that you weren't happy with the performance, but in particular that first half. So how important will a fast start be against the West Ham side, who will be looking to impress under Potter and will be at home as well?
We wanted to do it at Leicester as well, but it didn't work. So sometimes you want to do something, but it doesn't work, and this happened. But the more important is then you can change it during a game, and if we have a slow start into the game and then winning then 2-0, it's okay. But of course, it's what we're always talking about, performing over 90, 95, 100 minutes on your top level just increases the possibility of a win, and that's what we want. At Leicester, it was enough performing 45 minutes on a good level, but it just doesn't work in every game.
In terms of Trevor leaving Crystal Palace, how do you minimise the impact that will have on your backline and the stability that you've had there? Because he did become such a key player in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, we could see we had now 2 games. The last 2 games he didn't play, and we had 2 clean sheets. I know he didn't play the last 3 games because Chelsea was the game before. We conceded 1 there. So in the last 3 games without him, we conceded just 1 goal. I think our defense, our defending structure with our goalkeeper is a big strength in the last weeks. So for me is the basics, the basement of our run of getting more and more points, but not just the defending three, but they together with the sixes, and this is what we didn't do well at Leicester. So that usually we get more pressure on the ball and we don't give them so many opportunities to pass forward, and this always starts with the front three, and at Leicester they didn't do it that well, how they could do it, especially in the first half. Second was better, and this will be important tomorrow again, to get in situations in the right areas where what we're talking about, pressure on Kilman, pressure on Mavropanos, pressure on their sixes, don't let them turn passing forward, force them to make mistakes, force them to get them under pressure, and this always starts at the front, and then it makes it easier for the back 3, 5, and so it's all together. But yes, they were very stable. But also Chris Richards, he was injured. He had a short preseason, then he was injured, and but in every game he played, he did well. So and again, Jody Riyad is back. So we have at the moment 4 centre backs available for 3 positions. We always know Kleiny can play it, and so he showed it. We also know Jeff Lerma can play it. He showed, and so it's not that we are now we are very nervous that we need a centre back. So again, if there's a good player available who fits to Crystal Palace and it makes sense, then maybe we will try to get him. But if not, so we have still a very good defending. We have still many very good defenders.
And finally, from me, I mean, it has been a good run of late. 4 Premier League games unbeaten, and you've won 3 of your last 4 Premier League away games as well. So does it feel like things are coming together, settling down, and how much are you looking forward to the second half of the season now?
Yes, I think we had a good improvement, good progress after a very slow and also difficult start. And I mention it quite often. So some reasons we couldn't influence with the Euros, with the Olympics. Some reasons we could have done better with very late signings and having no training time together. So that everything was responsible for our slow start. But then it was important to stay together and work hard on the pitch. This is what the players always did. And then getting in the best shape, getting each other known. And I got somebody showed me a table, the last 13 games. I think we're 7th. We have 19 points, and everybody was always talking about the last season. And we had 13 games last season when we arrived, and we had 24 points. So now we have 19. It's from this end of the season to this start of the season. So let's say it's not that big difference, but I know, when you win 6 of the last 7 games, everybody, as I mentioned it quite often, is flying, no clouds, and the sun is shining every day. And then starting now, and it feels like it's raining the whole day. But important is that it's warm in your house when you go in.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That ends the broadcast section.